The moment it hits 80 degrees, dishonest mechanics start turning $20 AC fixes into $2,000 nightmares. Because your AC system relies on invisible gases, it's the easiest thing on your car to lie about. Today, we are exposing the 10 most expensive AC scams in the industry, how to spot them instantly, and how to save yourself thousands of dollars. Let's get into it. Scam 1. The seasonal top-off lie. Alright, scam number 1. And this is the one that probably gets more people every single year than any other. It's spring. You take your car in for an oil change, and the tech comes out with that look. You know the look. Slightly concerned, clipboard in hand. Hey, your AC refrigerant is a little low. We can top it off for $150. Totally normal. Happens every season. Stop. Right there. Here's what they're counting on you not knowing. Your car's AC system is a hermetically sealed, closed loop. Refrigerant does not get used up. It doesn't evaporate, burn off, or disappear over winter. The same refrigerant that was in your system when your car rolled off the assembly line is supposed to still be in there 10 years later. So if it's low, there is exactly one explanation: a physical leak. A cracked hose, a failing O-ring, a pinhole in the condenser. Something. Paying $150 for a top-off without fixing that leak is like bailing out a sinking boat without plugging the hole. You'll be back in that same chair paying the same $150 next spring, and the spring after that. And here's the catch. Venting refrigerant without capturing it is an EPA violation. A top-off without addressing the cause isn't just bad for your wallet, it's illegal. What to say? The moment a shop says your refrigerant is low, ask, what's the leak repair going to cost? If they fumble or say there isn't one, walk out. Scam 2. Stop leak. Death in a can. Now you know you have a leak. You go to the auto parts store, and a teenager in a red vest hands you a little DIY can with a hose that screws right onto your AC port. $30. Easy. Put it back on the shelf. These stop leak products are, without exaggeration, one of the most destructive things you can put in your AC system. Here's why. They contain polymer sealant compounds designed to react with moisture when refrigerant leaks out. In theory, the polymer hits the leak, contacts air, hardens, and seals it. Sounds clever. The problem is that the chemical doesn't know where the leak is. It circulates through your entire system. And because trace moisture exists everywhere inside an AC circuit, it starts polymerizing throughout, coating the inside of your condenser, clogging your expansion valve or orifice tube, and stripping the PAG oil that keeps your compressor lubricated from every surface it touches. The compressor runs dry, metal on metal. And a dry compressor doesn't fail slowly, it seizes, throws metal shards into the refrigerant lines, and suddenly your $200 leak problem is a $1,500 compressor replacement plus a full contaminated system flush. What to tell your friends? Stop Leak saves you $30 today and costs you $1,500 next month. It is not a shortcut. It is a time bomb. Scam 3. The R1234YF. Bait and switch. This one is newer and increasingly common. And if your car was built after 2014 or 2015, you're in the crosshairs. For decades, AC systems used R134A refrigerant. Cheap, effective, a few dollars a pound. But because it carries a high global warming potential, the EPA mandated a transition to R1234YF, which has a far lower environmental impact but can cost $40 to over $100 per pound. A typical recharge takes 2 to 3 pounds, so you could be looking at $200 to $300 in refrigerant alone at an honest shop. That price gap is exactly where the scam lives. Some shops charge you the full R1234YF rate on the invoice and quietly pump in cheap R134A. Others mix the two. Either way, it's not just fraud, it's a technical problem. The two refrigerants operate at different pressures and have different thermal properties. Mixing them pushes your system outside its design range, throws off the expansion valve metering, reduces cooling efficiency, and stresses the compressor long term. Here's the thing. The refrigerant machine your car is connected to automatically prints a report, exactly how much was recovered, what type, and how much was charged back in. That data exists. What to do? Before you hand over your keys, tell the service writer you want the machine printout when the job is done. A legitimate shop won't hesitate. If they tell you their machine doesn't print that, go somewhere else. Scam 4. You need a whole new compressor. Your AC stops blowing cold. An hour after you drop the car off, the advisor drops a quote. $1,200 for a new compressor. Before you sign anything, ask one question. Is the compressor itself failed, or is it the clutch? Watch what happens. Your AC compressor doesn't run constantly. It's belt-driven, but it engages via a magnetic clutch, an electromagnetic coupling on the front of the compressor. When AC is off, the belt spins the outer pulley freely. When you switch AC on, the magnetic coil energizes, pulls the clutch plate in, and the compressor engages. That clutch and coil are separate, serviceable components, and they fail all the time. A worn clutch plate, a burned-out coil, or even a misadjusted air gap can produce the exact same symptom as a dead compressor. Even simpler, a failed AC relay in your fuse box, a $15 part, can cut power to the clutch entirely, leaving a perfectly healthy compressor just sitting there waiting for a signal that never comes. How to check it yourself. Engine running, AC on, pop the hood and look at the front of the compressor. The outer pulley spins with the belt constantly. If the AC is working, the center clutch plate spins too. If the outer ring is spinning, but the center hub is completely still, your problem is the clutch or relay, not the compressor. That's the difference between $15 and $1,200. Same symptom, completely different repair. Scam 5. Ignoring the cooling fan. This one is subtle, and it's exactly the kind of thing a less than honest shop will exploit to chain together repairs that cost you a fortune. Your AC works perfectly at highway speeds, but shuts off completely when you're sitting in traffic or parked at a light. The shop diagnosis? Your AC pressures are running too high. You probably need a new compressor or condenser. Maybe, but 9 times out of 10, it's a dead electric radiator fan. Here's the physics. When your car is moving at 40 miles per hour, air is ramming through the front grille across your condenser. That's the radiator-looking component at the very front of your car that dumps the heat out of the refrigerant. Plenty of airflow. Pressure stay in range, AC works great. The moment you stop at a red light, that ram air goes to zero. Now your system depends entirely on the electric fan behind the condenser to pull air across it. If that fan has a dead motor, a blown fuse, or a fried relay, air movement stops. The condenser can't shed heat. High side pressure skyrockets, and your car's AC safety switch, which is there specifically to protect the compressor, does its job and shuts the whole system down. The fix is a cooling fan motor or relay. That's a fraction of the cost of any AC component. The tell. If your AC works fine on the highway but cuts out in stop-and-go traffic, look at your cooling fan before you let anyone near your AC system. With the car running and the AC on, that fan should be spinning fast. If it's not spinning at all, you just diagnosed your own problem. Scam 6. The cabin filter airflow lie. Quick one, but this is almost embarrassingly common. You're driving and the AC is definitely cold. You can feel it when you hold your hand right up to the vent, but the airflow is so weak it can barely ruffle a piece of paper. The shop suggests a blower motor diagnosis, maybe a new blower motor. You're looking at a $200 to $400 job. Before anyone touches anything, ask when the cabin air filter was last replaced. Your car's HVAC system pulls air in through a cabin air filter that's usually located behind your glove box or under your dashboard. That filter catches dust, pollen, debris, and every microscopic thing floating in the air around your car. And if it's never been replaced, which is the case for a shocking number of cars, it becomes so clogged that it's basically a solid brick of compressed road grime. The blower motor can be working perfectly and still only push a trickle of air through a filter that's sealed shut. Cabin air filters cost between $10 and $25 at any auto parts store. Most of them take literally 2 minutes to replace without a single tool. The ask: next time weak airflow comes up, say, "Can we check the cabin filter first?" That one question could save you $350. Scam 7. The Black Death System Flush. Alright, now we get into the big money scams. This one can easily run $2,500 or more, so listen carefully. Your compressor fails. Bad news, but fixable. The shop calls you and says something like, "Yeah, your compressor is gone, but it failed catastrophically, sent metal shavings all through the system. We've got what we call Black Death contamination. We're going to have to replace the compressor, flush all the lines, and replace the condenser and the evaporator core. All in, you're at about $2,400. Black Death is real. When a compressor fails violently, it can send metallic debris through the refrigerant circuit, contaminating other components that then need to be replaced. This is a legitimate condition. The problem is that dishonest shops claim it on every compressor failure because it's impossible for you to verify from the waiting room. Here's your verification tool. Every AC system has either an orifice tube or an expansion valve, and it has a screen or filter upstream of it. That screen is specifically designed to catch exactly this kind of debris. If your system truly suffered catastrophic compressor contamination, that screen is going to be packed with metallic particles. What to say? Before we talk about replacing everything, I want to see the orifice tube screen. A tech can pull that orifice tube in about 15 minutes. If the screen is clean, no visible metal shavings, no dark sludge, then you do not have Black Death contamination. You need a new compressor and a standard system flush, not a $2,500 total replacement. Ask for that screen. It costs them 15 minutes. It could save you $1,800. Scam 8. The condenser contamination myth. This one is fast, but it's important because it sounds completely logical when a shop pitches it to you. Road debris, a rock, a piece of wire, anything, punches a hole in your condenser. Refrigerant starts leaking. You bring it in. The shop says, "Yeah, the condenser is done. But since the system was open, debris could have gotten sucked into the compressor and expansion valve too. To protect the rest of the repair, we should go ahead and replace those while we're in there." Sounds reasonable, right? Protect the repair? Here's the physics. When a high-pressure refrigerant system develops a leak, the flow of gas is outward. The system is under positive pressure. Everything inside wants to push out. A puncture in the condenser doesn't create a vacuum that sucks dirt and road debris in. It blows refrigerant out until the pressure equalizes with atmosphere. Unless the system sat for months completely open to the elements, and I mean with a gaping hole and the cap off, debris contamination through a puncture isn't how this works. The fix? Replace the condenser. Pull a proper vacuum on the system to remove any atmospheric moisture. We charge. Done. The compressor and expansion valve that were working fine before the rock hit your car are still fine. Scam 9. The Phantom Evaporator Core. Of all 10 scams on this list, this is the one that makes me the most angry. Because it's almost impossible to defend against without knowing exactly what to ask. Your AC isn't cooling well, or a tech finds some indication of a refrigerant leak. They come back and say the evaporator core is leaking. The evaporator is the component buried deep inside your dashboard. It's the part that actually gets cold and chills the air blowing into your cabin. And buried is the right word. On most vehicles, accessing the evaporator core means pulling the entire dashboard out. We're talking 8 to 12 hours of labor on many cars. Add in the cost of the part, a system recharge, and any other components they recommend while they're in there, and you're looking at a $1,500 to $2,500 job easily. Here's the problem. Because the evaporator is completely hidden, there is no way for you to stand there and watch the tech point to a visible, leaking component. A dishonest shop can quote this job knowing full well you can't verify it. They pull the dash. They find out the actual problem is a $40 blend door actuator or a leaking O-ring on a hose connection, something that's accessible from the footwell in 20 minutes. They fix that, and they still charge you for the 10-hour dash pull. Your protection. Before you authorize any evaporator diagnosis, ask the shop to perform an electronic refrigerant sniffer test at your AC vents. A proper sniffer probe, held up to the center vent while the AC runs, will detect refrigerant gas leaking from the evaporator if that's truly the source. It's the same principle as a carbon monoxide detector. If the gas is there, the tool will find it. If the sniffer doesn't pick up refrigerant at the vents, that evaporator may not be leaking at all. Don't let any shop skip this step and go straight to pulling the dashboard. Ask for the sniffer test first, every time. Scam 10. The double diagnostic charge. Last one, and this one is clever in a quiet, almost polite way. You bring your car in because the AC is losing refrigerant, clearly a leak somewhere. The shop says they need to inject UV dye into the system, have you drive it for a week so the dye circulates and seeps out of the leak point, and then bring it back so they can shine an ultraviolet light on the system to find where the dye is showing up. Fair enough. UV dye detection is a legitimate method. But then you get the bill. Day 1. $100 diagnostic fee to inject the dye. Day 8, when you return, $150 diagnostic fee to diagnose the source of the leak. That's $250 in diagnostic fees before a single thing has been repaired. Here's the truth. The dye injection and the UV inspection are one single service. They are not two separate diagnostic procedures. One is only useful because of the other. You can't charge for them like they're independent events. A flat-rate leak detection service should cover the dye injection, the follow-up inspection, and a written report of where the leak is located. What to do? Before you authorize any UV dye leak detection, ask, is this a flat-rate leak detection service that includes both the dye injection and the follow-up inspection? Get that confirmed in writing on your repair order. If they say the return visit will carry a new diagnostic charge, that is not standard practice and you should call it out or find another shop. Now that you know exactly what not to let a mechanic do to your car, you need to know how to actually maintain the system yourself so it never breaks in the first place. Click right here to see the 5-minute AC trick you should do right now in your own driveway to keep your car freezing cold all summer long. Click that link, and I'll see you right there.